Hello everybody, and welcome to yet another Star Trek Online video. In this video today that I'm recording on the eve of the release of the Odyssey class tomorrow that they are going to be having for the second anniversary event, I decided I would record a tutorial on using the duty officer system. And what the duty officer system basically is, it's separate from your bridge officers. In fact, this has nothing to do with your actual bridge officers. However, the duty officer system is kind of like your own way of delegating assignments to crew members. And, you know, obviously in the future and in Starfleet, if you're a captain, commander, whatnot, you are delegating assignments to crew members. And I figured I would give everybody a basic understanding of how this thing works. There are a lot of new players in the free-to-play world that have PM'd me and messaged me, and even people that have emailed me that ask about how this system really works and what are the basics and how do you get started and just so many questions. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to record a YouTube video giving everybody a tutorial on how this duty officer system works. So without further delay, here we go. Down at Starfleet Academy, which is actually where you will get your first pack of duty officers. Now, if you're looking to start off your first pack of duty officers, you want to go to a building way in the corner over here to see somebody named Lieutenant Farah. What Lieutenant Farah is going to do is give you your first pack of duty officers. Now, at the same time, you could always go the C-Store route and buy duty officer packs. But this is, if you don't want to do that, this is the alternative that you have. And you can, even though the C-Store packs do allow you to rank things quicker and get more officers at one time, if you don't want to do that and you're not as diehard about this as I am, then this is something you do. So you go down to Lieutenant Farah, talk to Lieutenant Farah. Now, obviously, I've done this before, but Lieutenant Farah will give you your first duty officer pack, basically. And it gives you a small tutorial, but, you know, obviously some people still have had basic issues in doing this and even wanting to follow this. So I figured a YouTube tutorial would help out quite a bit. So you get your first pack from Lieutenant Farah, or you go the route of the C-Store packs as well. Now that you've gone to Lieutenant Farah, you end up getting your first batch of duty officers. And what does this entail? And you may ask yourself, you know, what do I do? On the upper right-hand part of your screen, you'll see the screen right here. Your, like, basically your mini map, and you have the little C-Store button. Then you have this little button here that says, has three little heads on it and a little arrow. That's your duty officer interface. So you click on that, okay? And we'll go to overview to kind of explain to you what the duty officer system actually is. Now, you have many different categories here: diplomatic, science, engineering, military, exploration, espionage, etc., etc. And you have assignments. You basically would get assignments in each one of these. You have your open slots. Now, in case you don't know what open slots means, you get up to 20 slots or 20 things can be assigned at once. That is the max. You cannot go any more than that. Then you have assignments in progress, view complete assignments, and then you got your summary, like your view roster, view space, ground, sick bay, and I'll kind of explain what a lot of this stuff is. But I'm going to go through the basics here. Now, if you are already a diplomat, okay, and let me kind of go back to Lieutenant Farah over here. You'll be maxed out in a diplomatic rank, okay? You'll see that you'll have attaché, consul, envoy, ambassador. So they kind of work the diplomatic ranking in here, okay? If you go to Lieutenant Farah, for each time you rank up in one of these systems here, for example, the reward for each ranking up in each one of these is select a single green duty officer. Basically, you go to Lieutenant Farah for this. Single green quality duty officer, blue, and then obviously very rare right down here, or the purple. So, you know, Lieutenant Farah will have, you'll see a little thing down here where, for example, science, you see these little, I guess you could say, officer, like there'll be a number next to one of these little icons, and one of these icons you get to pick one. Now, once you pick one from one of the, like, say for example, once you pick a green one, then you could buy a green DOff for 1,000 dilithium if you want. or like in the diplomatic area, then you got 6,000 dilithium for a blue, and it's 12,000 for a very rare, for a purple one, which is about standard for all of them. Okay, and obviously each one of them has their own traits over here. And we'll go into the traits and stuff like that a little bit later. So, but anyway, back to the interface. So you go there, you get your free DOffs from your diplomatic ranking, your 4 free DOffs there if you're maxed out in diplomacy. Then you go to, you have your assignment summary and stuff like that. So I'll kind of show you what the roster looks like. Duty officer roster. It's assigned. It's basically done in 7 categories: tactical, security, engineering, ops, science, medical, civilian. And you kind of see your civilians are like diplomats, advisors, entertainers, chefs, bartenders. Most of these will be used for diplomatic missions. Medical, which is like nurse and doctor, counselors, biochemists. You got your science for your geologists and research lab scientists and biologists and stuff like that. Astrometric scientist. Operations of a ship, like a quartermaster or an explosive expert or something like that. Hazard system officers, for example. Engineering obviously would have your diagnostic engineers, fabrication engineers, maintenance engineers. Security has your armory officers, assault squad officers, security officers. And then tactical is basically for more space stuff like energy weapons officer, shield distribution officer, stuff like that. So that's an overview of the roster. Okay. Now, each duty officer has its own traits and its own abilities. Now, you can take up to 5 duty officers for space and 5 for ground separately. So, and assign them as being on duty. Okay. Now, I think what I think would really be cool is if when you actually go on your bridge, if they were to actually put these DOffs on your bridge, maybe like, you know, them and you having them in uniform or whatnot. That's something maybe Cryptic could do down the line. But anyway, let's kind of get back into the subject here. But each one of these adds an ability to you while you're in space, for example. So right now I'm looking at the ground abilities. Like, for example, if this one is on duty, now if it's on duty, you cannot use it for another assignment. It's on duty. And once they go on, once you actually put them on duty, they become bound to you. So we cannot sell them on the exchange, just to kind of give you a heads up on that. But anyway, so let's kind of look at this over here. So like, for example, this armory officer, because I'm using this person as an on-duty ground officer, I get a chance to beam an extra phaser or disruptor turret, for example, on the ground. So, for example, if a bridge officer puts one on the ground, or if I'm an engineer and I fabricate a turret, a second one could pop up. Same thing with like an extra security escort. If I'm a tactical officer, which is what this character is, then an extra security escort could actually come down. As opposed to just 2, you'll get 3. And sometimes I've even done it where I've actually ended up beaming 3 down, and you get the extra one. But then, you know, yeah, obviously, if you go to some of your abilities and then refresh that screen, you know, refresh the area where you can beam down another security, like a security team group, then you could still get up to 6 of them, because I've done that. You know, down here in your ability, like if you hit, for example, your tactical initiative and you refresh this security escort, actually I've had it where 6 of them have beamed down before, which is very useful, especially when doing the Defera invasion zone. So, and you're by yourself. This fabrication engineer, obviously an extra support drone, possibly chance of beaming an additional quantum mortar, and this nurse, it'll beam down a medical, like basically some medical personnel, like a nurse that goes and heals your crew while you're fighting, which I think is kind of cool. So that's what some of these will do. Then obviously you got the ones in space, which have their own abilities. And for example, this one up here, chance to partially regenerate my shields when I take damage after using the brace for impact ability. And then this one, reduce recharge time of photonic officer and photonic shockwave. You know, so if I'm using those abilities, say if I'm using a science vessel. So that's kind of how these work when you have ones that are actually on active duty. The ones that are not on active duty are the ones you can use for assignments. So we'll go back up to the overview. Now, right now I have 1 assignment slot open, which means that I have 18 in progress, and again, you get a max of 20. So we'll go here, find assignment, right here. So this is the assignment menu. Just like your categories over here in the overview, this assignment menu, these are the categories I get to choose from, at least for right now. This is what I have in progress. So in about 8 minutes, these two things here will be completed. Some of these can take a couple days. Some of them can take 20 minutes. Not 20 minutes, but like 45 minutes. Some of them can take 2-3 hours, depending on what you have going on. So, and then if they get injured, say for example they get injured on an assignment. The one thing that's interesting is the fact that if they get injured on an assignment, they end up in sick bay, and if they get in sick bay, sometimes they're in there for a couple days. But once you get them out of sick bay, you actually get medical experience points for your medical category, which is still kind of cool. So, but anyway, this is how you find an assignment. And if you're maxed out in a category, like for example, I'm maxed out in diplomacy, don't even bother wasting assignment slots on this because you don't really need it. So basically, I'll just look at the colonial, and I'll go to the military. You also have shipboard assignments. These are sector assignments, like assignments in your sector, then stuff on your ship, which is mainly like running diagnostics and stuff like that, depending on what you're doing. But this is current sector. So, for example, it says for me to debate in Federation colonization assessment for the Rolar Nebula. 2 hours is the time. Now, when I click on this, a double left click on it. Up on your screen, you will see this: a description of the mission. Okay. The mission reward. So, for example, energy credits here, 5 dilithium, some experience points for my colonial ranking right here, as you'll see. And then obviously you get some skill points and bridge officer skill points and regular skill points. And then down here you have critical success 6%. This is a little graph plus the percentages. A success 56%. Failure 39%. Now, let me just tell you this, okay? And you have casualty risk down here. Before I get to this, casualty risk down here, none. So I mean, I have no risk of any of these guys ending up at sick bay or dying, for that matter. Reward bonus, which means that quality reward means the success rate down here. And then if you have a rare duty officer, it goes to 10%, and then a very rare increases that another 20%. So for example, I have a very rare and a rare combined is 15% of the quality reward bonus. It's how much additional skill points and experience and stuff you receive based on the quality of the assigned duty officer. So for example, the more green or better duty officers assigned, the greater the rewards of the assignment. So right here is basically what you get if you use nothing but common officers. And if you're successful, an extra 15% will be added to this because I'm using an uncommon and a rare officer. Okay. Now, if you hit the critical reward, now if you do a critical success, you have a success, a failure, critical success for most of these missions. A critical means this increases by 150%. 150%, which is really, really cool. So the rarer the assignment, the higher the bonus is for a critical success. That's basically what it is, plus this. So I'm telling you, this is, you can earn a lot of stuff from this. So then you go down here. Once you have your officer selected, you hit start assignment. Okay. Now, you have assignments in progress, which I'm looking at here. Okay. I have one that's completed. Now, here's what's cool about this. This is a critical success, which means that this reward increased substantially. On top of the fact that you got an extra 10% and 5% here for using these duty officers. So I end up getting a lot more in energy credits, science experience, bridge officer skill points, and obviously regular skill points. And dilithium, I got 125 dilithium for this, which is great. Plus the reward that I got, I ended up getting a rare sample, a verteron sample, deuteron, and a mineral sample. So to collect the reward, obviously you can click on this, and voila, collect the rewards, and they will end up in your inventory down here. Which that is very basic. Okay. Now you can also go down to your shipboard abilities. So we want a shipboard one, very simple. They want a quartermaster. I don't have any with the logical trait, but I do have a regular quartermaster for the success rate. So I'll just click on that and assign somebody to that. Now, we're going to kind of go up and beam up to my ship. And I think I'm flying the USS Excalibur, which is in a advanced escort. I think that's the, yeah, it's an advanced escort. So we're going to go up the Sirius sector block. Because what happens is when you leave certain zones and you go to other zones, so many more assignments will open up for you. And we'll kind of wait for the loading screen here. So here we go. Let's kind of clear out of all this traffic, and so nice to see with all the free-to-play players coming on. And it's going to kind of, yeah, we'll go warp someplace. Let's go to warp to Andoria. There we go. We'll go in front of Andoria. So anyway, now when you go up here, there are so many more. Look at all these assignments opened up right now. This is crazy. Now, I can't take any of them because I have 20 in progress, but in about another 50 seconds, I'll have a couple assignments opening up. But that's how you basically assign people to tasks, essentially. And you see all these tasks that kind of opened up. When you go to different sectors, different things will open up, and they kind of have something, basically have something to do with the sector. So, and then your assignment log, which is, you know, it kind of keeps track of the last few assignments that have been successful here, which I've done pretty well as of late. And obviously in progress, some of these have a little while, but you'll kind of get the drift of what I'm getting at here in a second. But then, you know, these are completed down here, and I failed. What a failure I am. So, but anyway, these are different things you could do over here, different assignments you can go on, etc., etc. And I'll kind of go through a small summary, give you guys an idea of what's going on. Now, some assignments, for example, require you to have certain commodities or items. So, for example, okay, you have, let's go down to, like, for example, for this, turn over confiscated contraband. I would need 3 contrabands in my inventory, which means I would have to inspect a freighter looking for contraband. See? So, I go to my assignment again, and the casualty risk is pretty high. Now, if you hit disaster, which is a 3% of disaster, either A, most of the time your DOffs will end up in a sick bay, or they will end up dead. But I haven't had that many get killed, but I have had them end up in sick bay. But you want to try to put DOffs that have these critical success traits, and obviously the success trait here. So this one here, unscrupulous, and this one with honorable, yeah, these two are going to be assigned to this. There you go. So that's basically how the duty officer system works in a nutshell as far as the basics. Now, many people are asked, well, what are the rewards? Okay, and there are a lot of really cool rewards that come from here. First of all, you can get rare or very rare bridge officers. I kind of give you an idea. You know, like this Trill science officer I ended up getting from the DOFF system, I believe, or this alien science officer here. Not that I need any more bridge officers, but it's kind of cool to have ones with level 3 abilities to train others in. But essentially, you would need certain things. Like, for example, let's kind of go down the system here. If you resettle colonists, which basically, you know, you get 5 colonists here. When you go to relocate them, you need to buy yourself, for example, 5 provisions and one provision, or not provision, but 1 commodity of medical supplies. And then obviously have the colonists to do this assignment. Then, for example, if you want to exchange self-sealing stem bolts for energy credits, and say you happen to have them, maybe getting them in game just on missions, then you can, you know, you assign a quartermaster or a trader, and you want to always have these green things to make it profitable for you, so you get 7,500 energy credits. But overall, some pretty cool stuff here as far as how the duty officer system works. So in a nutshell, that's basically how you're doing it. Now, you can expand the roster, which is what I did. And obviously, you can go through, and you can kind of go through and look at what we have going on here. But basically, these are the rankings and how you're doing in each one. And I'm doing pretty good actually in a few of them, like explorations almost. I think my next highest one, obviously next to diplomatic, but it's pretty cool. It's a really cool thing that they added to this. I think this is a great addition to the game. I think all of you out there that, and I know there's some people that are haters or doubters, I really like all of the changes they've done. I mean, the dilithium thing, yeah, it is what it is, but I don't have an issue with it. You know, I earn dilithium all the time and through various ways and through various characters, so I have no issue with that. You know, and I get my stipend for being a lifetime subscriber, so a lot of the new features have been great, and this is one of my favorites that has come up. So that's essentially a beginner's guide to how to do the duty officer system. And obviously, if you have any questions or concerns, or just have anything you want to, ask me about the duty officer system, by all means, email me, Tony at the37s.com, which is the website for my fleet, the 37th Tactical Group, or 37th Tactical Wing. Sorry, it was originally going to be called Tactical Group, but I decided Tactical Wing instead. It sounded cooler. So, but that's essentially how the beginner's guide to the DOFF tutorial on how to use the duty officer system. So, now, certain assignments, like for example, I'm going to go through some of these. Like for example, recruitment. You have a chance to recruit officers. I'm going to go through the ones that are in progress, give you an idea of what I've selected. So, for example, the recruitment category, you just select it. You get a couple duty officers. You get some dangerous assignments or somewhat dangerous assignments, and, like this one here, sabotage Klingon weapons labs. And again, some of these could take a day. Some of them could take a couple days. Like this one is going to take at least 2 days to complete. Investigate ruins, which is high. But, again, you get rewards, possible high rewards, and I have some pretty good officers assigned to this. So, just a beginner's guide to the DOFF system, and for those that are too lazy, like me, because I just kind of figured it out, too lazy to read it at Lieutenant Ferris Station, this gives you a good idea of how the duty officer system actually works. And basically, that's just about it. So, if anybody has any questions, by all means, email me. My fleet is also recruiting, if you're interested in that. But email me, Tony at the37s.com, or hit me up at my handle, twebster1977. That's my handle here on Stowe. So with that, everybody have a good one. Thanks for watching, and have fun assigning your duty officers, because I'll tell you what, this was a very fun and addicting aspect of this game. In fact, even if I don't, before I go, even if I can't log on to play, or I don't have time to, I can log on here and assign my officers to do things. I could still earn stuff while not even playing the game, which I think is really cool. So with that, everybody have a good one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.